When you think of war, you might think of a long-lasting conflict. But what about only a lunch break? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade and I love history, and I bet you do too. That's why you're watching this video. So remember to click the subscribe button and turn on the bell to receive notifications about future videos that you'll probably like too. And be sure to stick around until the end of this video to find out what happened to the man responsible, Khalid bin Bargash. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the beginning of the story, which starts with a treaty in 1890 between Germany and England that gave Germany control of Tanzania and England control of Zanzibar. England installed a puppet sultan in 1893 named Hamad bin Thuwaini, and he was able to rule peacefully for about 3 years until his unexpected death on August 25th, 1896. We don't know exactly what happened, but historians believe he was poisoned by his cousin, Khalid bin Bargash. There is no hard evidence, but Khalid did move into the palace and pronounce himself sultan within a few hours of his cousin's death. Of course, he did this without asking the British for permission, and they were none too pleased by this. Chief diplomat Basil Cave ordered Khalid to stand down, which he ignored, and started gathering his men. By the end of the day, Khalid had about 3,000 men and guns in the palace. Ironically, most of the weapons were diplomatic gifts from the British government to the previous sultan. Now, on the other side, they were also well armed. By the evening of the 25th, the British had 3 warships in the harbor, and they also had troops on the ground to protect the consulate and to keep the locals from rioting. But even with all this force, Cave knew he had no authority to use it. So he sent a telegram to the Foreign Office. He asked, "Are we authorized, in the event of all attempts at peaceful solution proving useless, to fire on the palace from the men of war?" The reply came in the form of 2 more warships arriving and a telegram that read, "You are authorized to adopt whatever measures you may consider necessary and will be supported in your action by Her Majesty's government. Do not, however, attempt to take any action which you are not certain of being able to accomplish successfully." Well, that's all Basil Cave needed to hear and issued his final ultimatum to Khalid. He needed to be out of the palace by 9 a.m. the next day. So at 8 a.m. on the 27th, Khalid sends a message saying that he is staying and that he doesn't think that they'll fire upon him. He was wrong. Cave replied that he didn't want to, but unless you do as you are told, we shall certainly do so. And they did. The order was given at 9 a.m., and by 9:02, the building was starting to collapse. It is also around this time that Khalid escaped out the back, but we'll finish his story in a minute. To wrap up what was happening at the palace, the bombardment lasted until 9:40, which is when the Sultan's flag was torn down, which officially ended the shortest war in history in only 38 minutes, or the average lunch break. What is unbelievable is that even though this was very short, the Sultan lost more than 500 men. This is mostly due to the wooden building collapsing, but still. So, now that Khalid was gone, the British could insert a new pro-British Sultan who would lead for the next 6 years. But what happened to Khalid? Well, the German consulate smuggled him to the mainland in Tanzania on October 2nd. In fact, it was not until the British invaded the mainland in 1916 that they were able to capture him. He was sentenced to exile in St. Helena, but after serving time, he was allowed to return to East Africa, where he died in 1927. So, there you have the story of the shortest war in history. Leave a comment below if you have any questions I can help you with, and while you're there, go ahead and hit that like button for me so YouTube knows to promote this video. And don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to check out my other videos that you're going to see on the side over here. I have other history videos, world history, US history, civics, and government. Some videos are even shot in 360, so check them out. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. See you next time.